Put boogers in ya. All right.
Hello and welcome to another Ginger Below, the show in which I'm forced to go into the basement, and the only way to entertain myself is by entertaining all of you. Once again, live in his own studio, we have Mr. Dulac, the letterbox celebrity, the movie viewer extraordinaire, the drinker of drinks.
How's it going?
Good, how you doing, man?
Good.
Awesome. All right, so let's get this show on a road.
Can people even hear me though? That's the question.
People hear you. That's a question. We have to find this out. If anybody's in the chat, let us know if you can hear both of us.
If that one
Both
person
sound good.
watching.
Both sound good.
Oh,
There's
okay.
somebody watching. Our technician is watching, which is good. Thank you, sir. All right. So let's get down to business. So tonight we decided to go with a new film legend, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, which you can watch on Netflix. And yeah, so usually we talk about movies beforehand. This time we did not. We did this recently too. What was the other movie did this? Was it Scream? It was Scream.
Scream, yeah, I didn't even know if you liked it or not.
Exactly. So we kind of did that this time too in order to keep it a little more fun. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack with this movie.
I think I can guess if you liked it or not by your sarcastic introduction of the movie.
You got to keep it interesting, keep you on your toes. That's what I got to do. So I just got a few things I got to post here and do. So while I do that, why don't you start us off and tell us what you thought?
Well, I don't want to start negatively, so I'll talk about the positive. There was some of the kills
Poster.
in the movie were awesome. The practical effects were awesome. And I think I ran out of positive stuff.
Nice. I think we're going to be on the same page when it comes to this movie. Wow. It's a departure.
Yes, that's one way to put it.
From the original movie. So this movie is supposed to take place in the future where the heroine from the first one survives and then she becomes it's kind of like it's like the Halloween thing, right? Like the
Oh well, exactly. You can tell that they're ripping off Halloween 2018. Even just watching the trailer, you can tell that.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's like
so it's a sequel.
50 years later in this case.
So it's a sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and really there was no point at all in doing that. They bring back the character.
No, because it's like
they bring back the character.
It's like so small.
The character of Sally Hardesty. First of all, Marilyn is not played by Marilyn Burns. She passed away a few years ago, so it's another actress. But you know, Marilyn Burns wasn't a huge star anyways, so it's not like bringing Jamie Lee Curtis back. Marilyn Burns was one of the greatest final girls ever. That's not a knock against her. It's just her. She didn't have the name recognition of Jamie Lee Curtis. So it's not like bringing Jamie Lee Curtis back. And even like, I wonder how many people watch this movie have even seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
See, and that I think that's like where the shame is.
Yeah.
Like, how dare Netflix put this out? If it was going to be the first like Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that someone was going to see.
Like, I don't want to act like a gatekeeper about how, like, saying like I'm a bigger horror movie fan than someone else that like the movie or something like that.
We can say that here. Like, this is no spin. Like,
it's fine.
Nobody can disprove anything we say.
If anyone liked this movie, that's fine. But the thing is, like, first, the character Sally in the movie just feels like it was tacked on. Like, how can we fit the character
Yes,
in the movie?
exactly.
Oh, we'll just, I don't know, did you watch Halloween? We'll just do that. And she has no part in the story at all. And the movie is not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It's just a generic slasher movie where they put Leatherface in and Sally Hardesty. Imagine this, Kev. Imagine they said, okay, we're going to do a direct sequel to Friday the 13th Part 2. We're going to ignore all the other sequels. And imagine they would do this exact same movie, just replace Leatherface with Jason and replace Sally with Ginny. And the movie would, I was going to say the movie would make as much sense, but the movie would actually make a little more sense because of the way Leatherface acts in this movie. Like, it has nothing to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, some people might argue with me, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't even a slasher movie.
No, I find it's more of a psychological
Yeah,
horror.
and all they did, like, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is about a family that kills people, eats them, makes furniture out of their bones. They'll make a lampshade out of your face. None of that.
So they're not wasting stuff,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're very green conscious.
And this movie is just a guy killing people. It's like if you made a direct sequel to Silence of the Lambs, and it was just Hannibal Lecter killing people who wouldn't eat anyone. But there's a scene in the movie where there's a bunch of lambs that aren't making any noise, and you're like, see, Silence of the Lambs. We got it. Because this movie feels like it was made by someone that only.
So you can't say that because they're going to hear this and they're going to do that.
Because this movie it feels like it was made by someone, the only thing they knew about Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the title of the movie. And someone told him, by the way, the killer wears people's faces. And then after he found that out, he was like, okay, I don't need to know anymore. I can write the movie now. And then someone was like,
Does he wear an
and then
apron?
someone was like, well, yeah, but the
Yes.
family likes to barbecue as well. No, I don't want to know that. That's never mind.
It's not important.
So did you like it?
So, no. Like you, there's some scenes in the movie I
Mm,
liked. The effects were
yeah.
good. Basically it's weird because you can take the movie like and divide into parts. The best parts or the parts that I enjoy the most are at the end. So basically when she's cornered in the room with that big water trough,
Okay. Yeah.
like those effects from there to the end were really good. That's the part that I enjoyed, which doesn't say much because the rest of it is like just it's fucking nuts. Like you said, it doesn't capture Texas Chainsaw Massacre whatsoever. I don't feel like I'm watching a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Mm.
movie. Like he's just like I feel like he's like he's like in love with his mom or something. It almost like psycho-esque.
Yeah. Like they made him, like they tried to make him the hero of the movie. Because
Yes.
when those young people get into town, they're just a bunch of little assholes, and they don't give a shit about that old woman at all until they think she's gonna die.
Fair. I mean, she did not have the deed, apparently.
And I don't get the story. Leatherface has been living in a fucking orphanage for 50 years.
Yeah. No, I don't get that either. And he kind of sees her as his mother too, which is weird.
Like he used to kill, eat people, make
In the
art out of
it was
their
in his 20s.
remains. And then, so he was doing all that, and all of a sudden he stopped and moved into an orphanage and hasn't done anything violent. Like, I don't get it.
No, I don't get it
Why,
either.
like, why
It's
bother making a legacy sequel? It's not like the other Texas
and then
Chainsaw Massacres tried to make any sense in the continuity.
well, no, exactly. Like after Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it's all fuck. It goes nuts.
Yeah.
The thing was weird. Like a scene when I was watching it, I was like, "Holy shit!" Mr. Dulac, when he saw this, he's probably like, "What the fuck is this shit?" When he's in the ambulance and they're driving the whatever she is, his makeshift mom. They're the orphanage
It's not
woman.
even an ambulance. It's a paddy wagon.
Yeah, that's right. It
It's
is.
like
It's a fucking
they
paddy
think the
wagon.
woman's dying, so they don't call an ambulance or something. They just shove her in the paddy wagon and drive her off.
Yeah, that was weird. Now you say that, sure. It wasn't even a medical vehicle. Well, although to be fair, this isn't exactly like the biggest city ever.
Yeah.
So they're driving off, and he dies. He gets all pissed off about it. So he's like, I'm so mad, I'm gonna take her face. Like, what the fuck? It's when he's holding the face up in the air in the light in the fucking sunflower fields. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, why? What? This isn't this. Leatherface wouldn't do this to somebody he loved. He would like fucking tear off their face. And how is that face holding on his face?
Did he sew something in it?
In the old one, no, he's in the old one. He sewed like the mask. It was sewn in the back. Here, just looks like he just plastered on him. It just somehow magically holds. It was just weird. It was a weird moment.
Yeah, a little bit. It was funny when his face pops out of the corn of the sunflower field, though.
Yes. Well,
I'll
I
give it credit
actually
for
like,
that.
and for those who are watching this, they'll see like I have the picture I have in the corner is him in the sunflower field because I like that part. I find there's something about that where the sunflowers are all dead. They're all. It would be cool if you started chopping off the heads off, like deadheading them,
Yeah.
like going totally nuts. That would be neat. I enjoy that part, but it's just the fact that he put his mom, not his mom, sorry, the orphanage woman's face on him is just fucking weird to me.
I guess maybe she lives on as his face. I don't know.
He did kind of take the dress out of the
Yeah, I thought it was.
like the closet and put it on him, right?
Well, no, he doesn't actually put it on, does he?
No, no, he he puts it in front of him in the mirror, just kind of see what
Even
he would look
if
like if he would put
if
it.
they would have done that, that would have been closer to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yeah,
than
exactly. Or like putting makeup over a fucking
yeah.
mask.
It's like in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface is just a freak. He's not a cool badass. He is a disturbing fat piece of shit that wears people's
And
faces.
he's not even the most disturbing part of the family.
No, but like he runs around and he like makes like pig noises sometimes when when the cook is whipping him and telling him to cook and it's like some like if you look at the later sequels, it's like the filmmakers they don't want to make a movie about that Leatherface. They want to make a movie about a cool Leatherface that's big and neat. They want to make a movie about Leatherface that's basically like Jason. They want Leatherface to be Jason basically.
Well, exactly, because they realize that they have a character here who's more over than the actual movie.
Yeah.
So they want to push that, right? It's kind of like the guy in my shirt. The original Star Wars, like who the fuck cared, right? But people saw the character look cool, so they brought it out and made him bigger than life. So the characters, I have not cared about characters that much in a horror movie in a long time.
And what gets me what gets me more about the movie is that I don't know like on Letterboxd and on Twitter, people are attacking each other for their opinion on this movie. And what gets,
Oh,
yeah.
really? I haven't looked at anything online because I didn't want to see what people were thinking about it.
So you have some people acting like, well, their attitude is, I love this movie, and why don't you love it? What were you expecting out of a slasher? Well, first of all, I wasn't expecting a slasher. I was expecting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, motherfucker. And secondly, I see this these arguments in the Joe Bob drive-in Facebook group. Some people arguing this is a perfectly good slasher. You didn't like the characters? Oh, just like every other slasher ever made. it's like this attitude of people saying that people who don't like this movie are snobs. There's no reason not to like this movie, and they're arguing that we only like old slasher movies out of nostalgia. They're not actually good. If you're a horror fan and you don't see the difference between this movie and a good slasher movie, that doesn't make you a bigger horror fan. It just makes you a horror fan with no taste. And I don't mean and I don't mean no taste.
Don't take it the wrong way, right?
I don't mean no taste because you like this movie. I mean no taste in the fact that you don't see a difference between these movies. Like I can see someone liking this movies and liking this movie and giving me reasons why they like it. But someone who tells me they can't see a difference between this movie and every other slasher movie ever made since the 1980s, that doesn't make you a bigger horror fan. That just makes you a horror fan with no taste. You can't discern anything between one movie to a next. You just think you're supposed to like every single horror movie that comes out.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you were to look at this movie and you were to say this is a continuation of the original, it's like it's so far apart because the first one basically psychological thriller, crazy family, cannibals. It's basically the whole 70s formula that you've seen, like Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, all those
Yeah,
types
those
of
aren't
movies. That's what I
don't.
put that
Yeah,
in.
those aren't
This
slasher movies. Exactly.
exactly, and that's to your point. They took Leatherface out of that because the character itself was cool, and now they're just trying to like pigeonhole him, fit him, where he doesn't really belong.
I mean, what?
He doesn't belong running around a town,
Yeah,
jumping on a bus. Like this is just weird
killing
shit.
a bunch of people that are too stupid to either fight back or run away.
They didn't have to. They were filming him. He was canceled.
That's another thing. This movie feels like it was written by people who didn't understand half the references they put in the movie.
Yeah,
Like a guy wearing another person's face with a chainsaw goes on the bus and they tell him if you try anything you're canceled. What the fuck did he mean by that? Canceled from what?
that's it. He's done. It's cancel culture. He's filming.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
live. It's done. That's it. It's over.
And now
He will never tweet
and this
again.
might be nitpicking, but something that uh, the girl that played the younger sister, Elsie Fisher. I'm not going to say anything bad about her because I love her. She was in the movie Eighth Grade.
Okay, and I know you like that
Yeah.
movie. I haven't seen it, but I know you like that movie.
And but her character, like holy fuck, her character is supposed to be the survivor of a school mass shooting, and the way they handle this character is just fucking idiotic. First of all, she's a survivor of school mass shooting. So her older sister, when they're at the gas station and she sees someone with a gun, she figures the perfect thing to do in this situation would be to antagonize the person with the gun while my little sister's next to me who survived the mass shooting and was shot as a teenager.
That's what they
And then
do
late
in
and
Texas.
then later on in the movie, they purposely put in a scene where she could have shot Leatherface, but she wasn't able to do it because she didn't know how to handle an automatic rifle. Now, were they putting in a message that she would have been better off in life if she would have known how to use guns? Is that like what they're doing?
An automatic weapon on top of it.
Like, I don't want to be a liberal nitpicker, but it just, if you're going to use a character like that, like someone who went through a school mass shooting, fucking either do it right or don't do it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird thing to have her like have it on her mind type thing. Like I don't
And then she sees a guy with the guns and she's like, oh, I'm going to go be friends with him because he seems well adjusted. He came,
my
he
buddy.
came here to fix up, uh, to do contractor work and he thought it was necessary to bring an automatic weapon with him. So I'm going to go hang out with him.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
they do.
Anyways, and then the disappointing thing too is that what's it? I'm gonna butcher his name, but Fede Alvarez, I think his name is. Did I butcher that name? I was close. That he's
No, whatever we say is right on this, right? So that's his name.
Fede Alvarez. He produced and was one of the co-writers of the movie. He's the guy that directed the Evil Dead remake and the movie Don't Breathe, which both movies I love. So so I was expecting more out of his involvement in this, but I guess he's never. I guess when he wrote this, he never actually watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know.
Well, that's really what it felt like. Like the whole movie felt like that.
Like even the bad sequels seem good compared to this because, like, take Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. It's not a good
It's an
movie.
amazing piece of film.
Like, it's not a good movie, but at least it's like batshit crazy.
Yes, like you're gonna want to rewatch it because of Matthew McConaughey.
They just did a bunch of weird shit in the movie. Like, he has like a brace on his leg and it's operated by
That's not
TV
porn.
remote control. Like, it makes no, like, nothing in the movie makes any sense. It's better than making like, this is what it is. This is a generic slasher movie.
Yes.
And there was like
Yeah,
no point, like they
definitely.
just slapped the Texas Chainsaw Massacre name on it. And I like the argument some people are arguing, well, this movie contains the biggest Texas Chainsaw Massacre of any other of the movies because he kills a shitload of people on the bus.
Yay. Which everybody's trying to get out through the
Yeah.
windows. They could easily walk behind him.
Or, kick him in the nuts or something. Try to
It
live.
doesn't make any sense. The whole scene doesn't make any sense.
It's bloody.
It's blood. Yeah, well, that's it. That's all it is. The blood fest. Got some comments here from Stephen Budd. Leatherface is the most spry 70-something-year-old in the history of cinema after this movie.
Yeah, like you don't see his face, but you see it, like you come close to seeing his face, and they make no intention of making him look old at all.
No, his hair's a little gray, I notice.
Oh, okay. Well, but
That's it.
Stephen Budd is right. He's more spry in 2022 than he was in 1974. 1974 was a big sack of shit that couldn't run.
Well, if you think about it, he would have been similar age to the girl there, the final girl.
And she's pretty fucking tough for a 70-year-old. She took a chainsaw into the stomach and she was still alive 20 minutes later.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, she didn't have to be in that
I
movie.
feel more angry about this than I should be, but
Laura Bud says so many things wrong with this movie. It could have been so much better. So disappointed.
like,
Bring back Jessica Biel.
oh well, yes, the fucking 2003 remake is a fucking masterpiece compared to this. Holy
Yeah, I
shit!
agree. The remake is really good.
Even the prequel to the remake is better than this.
Yeah, it's one of the worst ones.
Like, an example I told someone is Rob Zombie's A House of a Thousand Corpses is a better Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie than this. Like for real,
It's more family.
House of a Thousand Corpses rips off Texas Chain. Like, I love House of a Thousand Corpses, but I'm gonna be honest, and it rips off Texas Chainsaw Massacre a lot, and that's fine.
That work. It's okay.
It's okay.
Stephen Budd writes, Chop Top would have made this movie 100 times better.
Holy shit, yes, they should have made it.
Oh,
Well, I was gonna say,
actually, he wrote the next comment Stephen Budd wrote is something that I thought too, and I forgot to mention this. The best part of the movie, by far, was John Larroquette.
yes. Must be nice for
I
John
love that
Larroquette.
too. When I heard his voice, I was like,
E-
holy
Every
shit.
couple of years, they just come up to him, hey, can you, and he probably finishes their sentences. He's like, you want me to do the narration at the beginning of a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? Sure.
Hey, Dan Fielding, want to do some narration? Yeah.
And I think I read that this is like Netflix's second most watched movie. I don't know if it's ever this year or something. Like, in other words, it's a huge hit.
Oh, so it means there are gonna be more.
Yep. Did you see the? I think it's the scene after the credits.
The post-credit scene was very cool.
So maybe he'll be
I will give
home,
it that.
but I don't know.
He- He's going to the old Sawyer house. That I like.
It considering considering the shit sequels we've gotten over the years, I'll admit that it's funny that I'm getting this upset, upset over the latest thing. Over, I think this is the ninth entry.
It's true though, because like there's been a lot of garbage.
But
Like to me, I like one, two, four is great for a laugh, and then the remake, and that's it. Anything else is garbage.
yeah, I watched Texas 3D a couple of times. I don't remember that much. I watched the one that came out before this was just called Leatherface, and it was like a prequel. It was like when he was young. Did you watch that one?
I don't think I did.
That one might feel even less than this. No, well, he it's like
I don't think I
I
will.
think he's young and he ends up in like, does he go to juvenile hall?
So is it kind of like what they did with Halloween, Rob Zombie?
Yes, if the entire movie was the first half of the Rob Zombie Halloween movie.
Okay, gotcha.
But in its defense, there's still a family dynamic in the movie, unlike this. And Texas Chainsaw 3D really, that one doesn't really have a family dynamic in it either. That one makes about as much sense. Toby Hooper, I guess, I don't know if it was his original idea for Texas 2 or if it was his idea for a third movie. But one of his ideas to make a sequel would be that you'd have a group of people arrive in a town, and the entire fucking town are cannibals. Like the entire town are fucked, or have been like converted to the Sawyer family, basically. He was gonna call it Valley Beyond the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, cool. That'd be neat.
But of course,
Better than this shit.
no one would have given him money to do that.
No, no
But
way.
if you say you're going to make a movie with just Leatherface that kills a bunch of people, then Netflix will give you money to do it.
Well, yeah, because it's only what, it was an hour 23 minutes.
I wonder if a lot of stuff got cut out of it.
It could have
One,
been because the first thing that jumped at me was the runtime.
once they realized how unlikable everyone in the movie was, they cut a bunch of shit out of it.
We got the characters sucked. Like the whole time, I'm like, holy shit! I don't give a shit about any of you.
No, from the very moment you meet them.
Exactly. There's like they have no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Like, right,
They're all horrible people that are trying to get into real
yeah.
estate.
As soon as they get to the gas station, she starts verbally abusing the guy with the gun. Like, the guy could have been a cop for all she knew.
Oh
She
yeah,
sees a
exactly.
holstered gun and she starts talking about his small dick. And then they get to the town and they basically yell in the old woman's face, "Get out of your house!" and give her a heart attack.
And then Leatherface, like, he's what they fuck. They're like, hey, let's put your chainsaw in the fucking wall.
He must have oiled that up a lot 50 years ago before putting that in the wall because there wasn't a speck of rust on it.
I know, and it just started like right away, like a dream, gassed up and everything.
Um, I think when they remade the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they had, whether you like the movie or not, I personally, I really like the remake. They had the perfect idea in whoever remade it said we have to keep this movie in the 70s. It works better in the 70s.
100%.
And
100%. All of those types of movies work better pre-cell phone technology.
yeah, and if they wanted to make a direct sequel to the original, that they should have maybe gone to the 80s, maybe.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Like I don't know. Earlier, what I almost said was they should have made a direct sequel to Texas Chainsaw 2, but that would have been kind of dumb considering everyone's dead at the movie. Spoiler. But like like
Could have been Leatherface at another radio station
but like a lot of
with Casey
I know a
Kasem.
lot of people don't like two, but I like two. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I really like two. I mean, it's just fucking crazy.
I like two as well. It's goofy,
Yeah.
but it's not goofy like part four.
No. I don't know if Toby Hooper just thought, he figured maybe he figured, there's no way I'm going to make a sequel to that, and on that with that tone, so I'm going to go in a different direction and just go goofy as shit.
Yeah, which I mean, it's okay to try new
Yeah. And
things.
he's
If you're the creator, you can do whatever
and he
fuck you want.
somehow got fucking Dennis Hopper to be in it.
Well, they got Michael Caine to be in Jaws: The Revenge.
Uh, do you ever read an interview of Michael Caine when he's asked about that movie?
Yeah, he said, I was so excited to be in this film. I rather missed my Academy Award win
No,
because I wanted to spend more time with the shark.
what he says usually is when they ask him about the movie, he said that paid one of my houses. In other words, leave me alone.
See? He was well paid.
But like I'm tempted to maybe like watch. I haven't watched like 3 and 4 in probably a while. Like I'd like to watch 3 again. I don't remember that much about 3, but I remember it's about a family. But it's weird because like Leatherface is in it. It's about a family, but the family has a different name.
Yes. And he catches a few people in it and he keeps them like slaves, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's like it's a better Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie than this one, anyways.
Yes. I haven't seen it in a while either. 'Cause last time I saw that was on
And what's
VHS.
funny is Viggo Mortensen is in it. The guy that played he was in the Lord of the Ring movies.
Okay, yeah,
So if you look at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, there's like famous people almost in every one. Like 2, you have Dennis Hopper. 3, you have Vigo. 4, you have Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. Then is it the remake after that?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have
I
like
think so.
Jessica Biel,
Jessica Biel.
the prequel. I don't know, probably no one, but and this one, I guess maybe I don't know. The girl from 8th grade, maybe she'll go on to be bigger, and this will join the ranks of Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that have someone famous in it for no reason.
Yeah, but like McConaughey and Zellweger were like kind of they were known.
Were they known? I think they were known. I think they were known when the movie finally came out because the movie like was made and then it was just canned for a while and then it came out. But I don't think they were known when they made it. When they made it, I think they were nobody.
Because I remember seeing it and knowing like who Matthew McConaughey
Yeah,
was. And I saw it on VHS.
because I think I read that their agents kind of fought to keep their names off the posters. But
Nice.
when the people made when the studio who had the rights to release the movie, they were like, "Fuck no, we're gonna plaster your names all over the poster."
Well, yes, of course. You can get people in just for that.
So I think the only good part about this is that if a lot of people watched it, we might get a sequel, and maybe whoever makes the sequel will actually want to make a real Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Maybe, I don't know.
Or they'll hire the same guy and we'll just get a continuation of this one.
It's sad. It's funny that
I did like the part of the ending though.
yeah, yeah, I like that. I guess
Like when she fights him, then she fucking like hits him with the chainsaw like underneath the neck.
it's funny that I had my hopes up for this. I don't know why. I should have known better.
I had nothing. I knew no preconceived notions going in because I didn't even watch the trailer for it.
I wa- watched
I went totally
I
blind.
watched the trailer and the trailer looked like shit, and I still thought, it'll still be good. There'll be something.
Maybe they used all the worst parts for the
There
trailer.
wasn't even any barbecue in it.
There's no barbecue.
That's the best part about 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 the second one. He wins like chili cook-offs and shit.
Yes. My favorite character of the first one is Grandpa.
Is what?
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Grandpa's awesome. Do you think he's dead? He's not even dead. It's like, hit her, Grandpa, hit her, Grandpa, hit her, hit her, hit her. That's amazing.
And that fucking hitchhiker. Yeah, like the
Oh yeah, he's fuck man, he was
so
nuts.
I watched it again. Like I don't know how many times I've watched it. I watched it again like the week leading up to watching this one because I figured, hey,
That's just gonna get
let's put
disappointed.
my expectations at a level that I'm assured will not be met and revisit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's still like, some people might complain about it being low budget, but other than that, Jesus Christ. Oh, and one thing some people complain about online saying that how unlikable the characters were in this one, saying, well, in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, everyone hated Franklin in the wheelchair. Yes, everyone hated Franklin, but here's the thing about Franklin. That movie was almost 50 years ago, and we're still talking about Franklin. No one's going to be talking about these fucking characters 5 years from now, much less 50 years from now.
Well, that's just it. Like, do I not? But see, when I say I don't care about a character, doesn't mean I hate the character. I don't care about the character.
Like you don't give a
If you can get me
shit.
to hate the character,
Yeah,
that means you develop the character. Because I'm just going to be indifferent if I don't hate him.
yeah,
So people saying that, I mean, it's kind of like dumb.
a little bit. And I hate the argument of people saying, well, all slasher movies are like that. No, all slasher movies are not fucking like that. The good ones aren't. Even some of the good ones are. I use the metaphor where a good movie is held up by pillars, and the more pillars the more good pillars you have, the better the movie is. One horror movie might have a shitload of characters that you hate, but you have good special effects, you have a cool killer, you have great production, the story's good, other than the fact that every character in it is shitty. You know what I mean? So it's still a pretty good movie. This movie, the only pillar it has is like the violence is cool, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they even fucked up the character.
Yeah, like he's not. He's
Like when Leatherface was wearing that woman's face, I was like, what is this? He's supposed to have multiple faces on the mask. It's supposed to be stitched. There's stitched on his face. There's a look to it. It's like you said, it's like they never watched a Texas Chainsaw Massacre before.
yeah. Someone just told him he wears people's faces.
Exactly. So like, oh fuck, it's like Nicolas Cage in Face Off. Like fuck.
Yeah, like you could switch, like interchange him with another killer and still make the exact same movie, and there would be no difference.
Exactly. And like having that final girl in it it didn't help anything.
No, there was no point.
Now, mind you, she kicked ass, but like I didn't care for her like I cared for the original character.
um, like I don't know. It was a cash grab, I guess. Maybe no,
Yeah, I mean Netflix, if they did well.
maybe no one wants to make a movie about a fucked up family that eats people and makes furniture out of their bones.
It's a lost art.
Like it's not that.
It's it's
Like
niche.
I sound half sick that I want that, but that's what's disturbing when they go into that house, when they go into the farmhouse in the first movie. He finds like fucking artwork made out of bones and fucking his girlfriend in the freezer being preserved for supper later. Like even when towards the end of the movie when Sally goes back to the gas station because she like at that point in the movie you don't know the cook is part of the family and she's just sitting there and you hear the barbecue and the camera just stays on the barbecue for like uncomfortably long and you can't tell that it's at first it doesn't look like well, it doesn't look like human parts at all, really, if you analyze it. But the camera stays on it long enough that it kind of you start to wonder if it's like human body parts that are being barbecued in there, and just the sizzling is so fucking disturbing.
Yeah, because at that point in your head, you're like, this is human.
And there's nothing like that in this movie. He doesn't even eat a sandwich
No,
out of anyone.
no
Like what
sandwiches.
the fuck?
Unreal. If he was full.
Maybe he was.
Stephen wrote, I honestly can't think of a horror movie where I hated every victim like I did in this one. All the Elm Streets, Fridays, Halloweens, hell, even Night of the Demons, there was always someone you liked.
Yeah, and I think someone compared this to Nightmare 4, and I was like, fuck off. Every single Nightmare on Elm Street movie is better than this.
Well, yes, by far.
Like, there isn't a single Nightmare on Elm Street movie that has a cast of characters this fucking unlikable.
Even Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is better than this. You got the body. I got the brain.
ever since I watched, what's the name of the documentary? Is it Scream Queen? The documentary on Nightmare 2.
Yes.
Ever since I watched that, I think when I watch it again, I'll probably have to when I watch Nightmare 2 again, I'll probably have to rate it higher on Letterboxd than I did last time. I figure
I did
I
watch
have
it
new
again actually
respect for that
recently.
movie. I
And it actually, watching that documentary does influence your
yeah,
opinion after
I
it.
still think it was the movie made the mistake of bringing Freddy outside of the dreams. Now we're going off on a tangent, but who cares? the the movie still made a mistake of thinking, oh, next best thing is we bring Freddy in the real world and he kills people in the real world. It's like, no.
If we say that, but then later on we have two other movies that do that.
What?
Later on, yeah, two other Nightmare on Elm Street movies that they do that.
Which ones?
Freddy's dead. She brings him out of the dream at the end to kill him.
Yeah, but at the end, that like I mean the whole point.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then Freddy versus Jason.
yeah, but that's at the end too. Like Nightmare 2, the whole point was like at the end, like he comes out at the party and starts killing people. It was half interesting him taking over dude buddy's body and
Like the effects with Jesse
yeah.
like turning into him were really well done. Steamer also near the end, you have a 70-something-year-old Leatherface, 20 feet away from the bus that is moving away, and somehow he stops it.
Yeah, they don't actually show why the bus stopped, do they?
I don't remember they did.
I remember you hear something, and I thought in my head maybe he chainsawed the wheel or something, but I don't think they ever show why the bus actually stopped.
I don't remember seeing how White saw it.
I was too distracted by people being stupid.
People being canceled.
like that fucking girl, they see the black guy is dead, he was murdered, and they don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I know. She just like calmly like goes back to the bus, sits in the front row, like, don't open this door. Like, get the fuck out of there. Unreal.
And see, the thing is about this movie, it's such a generic slasher movie that there's not that much to talk about.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It's a movie with Leatherface. And not even Leatherface, it's like fucked up new version.
Like it,
The Saw is not family.
it should no, it isn't. Like that's the only
Which is sad.
that's the only catchphrase of the fucking franchise, and they couldn't even get that right.
I mean, maybe if you would have seen more of the like the dynamic between him and the like orphanage woman, maybe they had that dynamic,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
but
that's
we
what
never
this
got to
scene
see
was.
it.
That's what this movie was missing. More scenes with between Leatherface and the orphanage woman.
Well, you know, the sequel they're going to do will be about that. It'll be a
Oh my
prequel to the
god.
sequel about him and that lady. So when they showed that picture on the wall and the face was scrubbed off, was that him?
That's what I figured. So he lived there. He lived there with a bunch of fucking kids and never killed anyone apparently.
Yeah, it's weird.
And they don't show anything in that fucking
So there's
house.
definitely a movie there. There's stuff to talk about.
Nothing in the house made out of bones.
No bones.
Because we all know serial killers can just, quit on a whim.
That's why I felt it was almost like it wasn't like a sequel. It was like a just like another dimension,
That,
like an alternate
that there was
universe.
no point at all at doing a legacy sequel to this.
They could have saved it for something legitimately good. The only reason why they did that is because they thought, oh, well, Halloween did it and it made
Oh
money.
yeah. Like I guess so Texas Chainsaw 3D did the same thing. It's a direct sequel to the first one. And the prequel that came out after Leatherface were made by the same people. They had planned to make that sequel and that prequel and then I think another sequel after. Because I think in Texas Chainsaw 3D, I don't know why I'm talking about these movies, they're not even good. But I think the woman that leaves her the house that makes them end up going to Texas, I think that character is actually in the Leatherface prequel. So it's like all tied together. But what those people didn't count on when they made those movies is that no one would give a shit.
No one cared. We put all these cool Easter eggs in there and nobody gave a shit.
So I wonder, with all these revivals of 80s franchises, I wonder if anyone's approached Robert Englund to do one more Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
He should do one more
He
Nightmare on
should
Elm
do
Street
one more
movie.
than because I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore. I just want to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street since Steven Bud brought it up.
All right, we're gonna talk about Nightmare on
All
Elm
right, we're
Street
going to
then.
talk about Nightmare on Elm Street then. Because I still argue that if they want to revive Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think Robert Englund appreciates what the role of Freddy Krueger brought to him,
He
but I think
loves it.
he
He loves
I
it.
think he's at an age where he does not want to make like 5 more Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But I think he might be willing to make one more if the
Yes.
price
He
was
wouldn't have
right.
to be in the whole
He wouldn't
movie
have to be in the
technically.
whole movie, so technically. I think the best thing they could do. I'm not saying it would be easy, but the best thing they could do to revive this franchise is to create not get someone else to play Freddy Krueger, to create a new character to take over from Freddy. Because I don't think you're going to find anyone to play Freddy Krueger and it's going to be acceptable. Like anyone else to take over the role of Freddy Krueger. It's not like that role is Robert Englund.
And
And
Rorschach.
Rorschach. That's my opinion, anyways. I'm not saying it would be easy. I can't like creating a new character to take over from Freddy Krueger would not be easy, but I think that it would be easier than to find someone to play take over Freddy Krueger. If I'm proven wrong, I would love it because that would mean we get more new Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So, but by saying that, you could have like Robert Englund come back to make one more Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and in that movie would introduce this other character that would take over. It would have to be a hell of a good character though, but
So does he transfer his
So does
powers
he
over,
transfer his
or is he
powers
just
over, or is he
bringing
just
somebody else
bringing
in?
somebody else in?
I don't know. I'm not a fucking screenwriter. You do it.
We've got to write this.
We've got to write
It's the only
this.
way to get done.
It's the only way to get done.
You could have so the Freddy, like Freddy has no more power, but you have this fucking serial killer that's on death row, and he comes up with I don't know some sort of fucking Chucky.
Is he a doll?
Is he a doll?
He comes up with some sort of Chucky ritual that summons Freddy, and his whole purpose is to get Freddy's power so he can live on after he's executed. It's more interesting than the crap we just watched.
It wouldn't take much to
It
convert
would take
interesting
much
in
to
that
get
shit.
interesting in that shit.
I don't know. It's just an idea. If they could find someone to replace that would be good at playing Freddy Krueger, I'd be good with that too, though. But what are the chances?
Yeah, they've tried it.
Yeah, they've tried it.
It failed a little bit.
It failed a little bit.
Oh, cool. My voice is being
The
doubled. My voice is being doubled.
like the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. What they need to do is not go the route of a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street and say, okay, we're gonna come right out and say Freddy Krueger's a child molester, and the movie's going to be about him terrorizing the survivors that he molested. That's not a fun horror movie.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna tell you something about the reboot movie. I didn't hate the fact the movie made you question whether he was wrongfully accused or not.
No, I didn't mind. That part was fine.
That part, I liked it because then I'm like, well, can you kind of a little sympathetic? Maybe he's not the monster you think he is, right? So your issue with that movie, if I'm not mistaken, is the fact that he did abuse kids.
Well, in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, it's just said that he used to murder kids.
Yeah, see, like I always thought from the beginning of Freddy that he didn't just murder them.
I always thought he just murdered them.
So when they
And
went that route, I was like,
that's
oh
how
yeah,
I choose to remember it. But even in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, he's going after kids. The kids, what I liked about the original Nightmare on Elm Street is though the kids he's going after, they're paying for their parents' sin. Like he's going after the parents that killed them. They're kids. He's not going after like survivors of fucking child molestation.
yeah, but so if the people that were the people made up the fact that he abused them, and then they kill him, then he's coming back for revenge against those people because they lied.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of the way I saw it.
Anyways,
Yeah, part two, better. See, I can remember like in memory, and I remember it clear as day. A few like two very powerful memories of Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid. One was seeing the trailer for part two on TV. I'll always remember when he like grabs the fence at the party and like electrocutes him, he bounces back. I can see that in my head. The other one is seeing the trailer for part three at Midnight Video in Dieppe. The original one, the one that was where the ice cream parlor is, and they would literally play trailers on loop. So there was like five or six trailers that were playing on loop. So if you were there for more than like like half an hour, you would have seen the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 trailer like fucking like 7 times. And I remember the faucets turning to the hands, the spikes grabbing him, like and turning her wrists and slashing it.
That
I was like, holy
Nightmare on Elm
fuck, this
Street
is
Part
crazy.
3 is awesome, and you don't see that often in horror franchises where like they made Part 2 and you're like, okay, well that didn't work. So let's course correct in the third one, and in the third one it's like, holy shit, did they ever get it right?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. See, for me, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 isn't the best Nightmare on Elm Street.
Did you say is the best or isn't?
It's not the best.
I think it's the best.
It's good, but it's not the to me. It's not the best. Like I have my favorites, right?
Yeah,
But like you said, like to me, like three and four, like four is my favorite. Three is my second.
I think. Uh, I think I like New Nightmare more than 4.
New Nightmare was okay.
So my favorites are like 1, 3, New Nightmare. So 1, 3, maybe then New Nightmare. I'm not sure between 3 and New Nightmare, and then 4 would be after that. Maybe. Did you watch the new Matrix movie? I'm all over the place. So on Letterboxd, everyone was flipping out about how.
Holy fuck, man! Stop
Well, it
derailing.
still has to do with Nightmare on Elm Street. Everyone
No, it
everyone on
doesn't.
Letterboxd was flipping out about how meta the new Matrix movie was, because you have Neo, he made the Matrix games and all that, and the only thing I could think of where the fuck were all you people when New Nightmare came out? That was even more
It's
meta.
true.
Like imagine a Matrix movie where Keanu Reeves is playing Keanu Reeves because he made some Matrix movies and he finds out that the Matrix is real.
Wasn't that a
That would
movie?
be like on the that would be equal to New Nightmare.
Yeah, it was well thought out.
Mm.
I didn't really like super like the new Freddy look. It was okay.
Yeah, but the new one thing about the new Freddy look, he still looked better than the Freddy in the remake.
Yes, and he still looked better than Freddy in Part 5.
In 5?
That's the worst. I think that's what killed Nightmare on Elm Street 5 for me was the makeup.
Really?
Yeah, they changed the makeup. Like Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, 3, 4, it's all the same look. In 5, it looks like everything's rushed. The scars aren't in the same place, and it looks like completely
Okay.
different. Which is kind of like you said in the reboot, the scars totally look different. Like it's not even the same thing at all.
Like, I'll give them credit that their thought process was to make him look like a real burn victim,
Yeah,
but it just doesn't work.
no, it looks weird. I tried to, like, I started watching it again like a few months ago, and I just like it's just a diner, the beginning scene, and I'm like, I can't do it.
I have vivid memories of struggling to stay awake at the theater watching it.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
It's still better than Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. So, what other horror movies do we have to look forward to this year?
Mhm.
Oh, Nope. Nope looks good. Jordan Peele's new movie.
Oh, Note, yeah. He's what a Note? What's the name of it?
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
Nope. Yes, Nope. I sent you a message and you like laughed at it like it wasn't gonna be good.
No, I think. Why did I laugh? I forget.
It does look good. It reminds me of Signs.
It does look good despite reminding me of Signs.
Oh, Signs was amazing. love Signs. So creepy.
Um, yeah,
The new Halloween, is that coming
go
out
to
this year?
Texas. Yeah, I think they already filmed it, didn't they? Probably.
They were filming it because I saw pictures of Jamie Lee.
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting because I think they just wanted to make a trilogy. So if they really kill Michael Myers at the end, I wonder if the studio is going to accept that and not make another sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen. We got a license to print money. Don't use it.
I hope
Rip
it
it
ends on
off.
a high note. I hope it's good. I haven't watched the. I guess there's an extended version of Halloween Kills that came out. I haven't watched that
I
yet.
haven't seen it either.
I don't know if there's a different ending or.
I find it was neat because like they had Jamie Lee in it, but like they totally separated her from Michael. It's kind of like they're waiting till the third act. And they're gonna have their big battle.
Yeah, it's too bad that the fucking Friday the 13th rights are so. Well, I don't think they're messed up now. I think it's settled, but they would make so much money if a good Friday the 13th if they made a good Friday the 13th movie.
In the 80s.
Yes, because I think that's what they were. That's what was supposed to happen originally. Like in the last sequel that they canceled, there was a last movie that they were gonna make with all this revival.
I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah, it would work. It's not. It wouldn't be a hard movie to write, for Christ's sake. Just fucking yeah, do it in the '80s and like get a bunch of likable characters, not a bunch of fucking douchebags.
Yeah, it would work.
Uh,
I would watch it.
because real,
I'd watch anything Friday 13. Friday 13 is my favorite horror franchise.
really,
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
know.
know.
Look, Jason's right there. You knew, liar.
Um, because you know how studios think like Halloween made a hit, and that's why this Texas Chainsaw Massacre film got made.
They made a shit ton of money, so horror's back.
Yeah,
So maybe Paramount's gonna be like, fuck, let's do it.
and then Scream was a hit, so Scream 6 got greenlit. They're gonna make another Scream movie. What other franchises that we don't have another movie coming out? I think like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street are the two big ones.
Yeah,
And you
definitely.
know what? I think Wes Craven's estate, I think they own the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street again. Yeah, because like
Yes.
copyright laws changed in the U.S. I think.
Yeah, after like 30 years, you could own the rights to the creation which is why Friday 13 had a
Right.
problem. Also, why Stephen King got all back his characters.
So I think that's why I think Wes Craven's estate owns Nightmare on Elm Street again. And I think you know what I'm remembering now. I read an interview with Elijah Wood where because Elijah Wood has his own little production company and he loves horror. He makes like well
Little, I
a
get it.
little.
He's got his own little Hobbit
So they
company.
make a lot of low budget horror movies, and a lot of them are good because they come out with they're not generic horror movies. He usually has like some original idea behind them. There was one called The Piano, another called I think it was Open Window, and the entire movie is everything you see in the movie is just something you would be able to see on a computer screen. So like I'm trying to remember. I think he goes to meet a woman, and is he live streaming it? Anyways, you get the idea. Every movie they have like some sort of original ideas behind it, And I think in the interview, he said that they sent a proposal of their idea for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie to the Wes Craven estate, whoever's taking care of the movie rights. And he said that that's all he could talk about so far. So it sounds like they're listening to pitches, and the fact that no
That's good.
movie has
Well,
been
clearly they did Scream,
yeah.
so they're looking to make movies, right?
So it sounds like the fact that no movie's been greenlit yet. It sounds like they, even though they're listening to pitches, they're not just accepting anything to make money, which is good. So at least they're
Yeah.
waiting for like someone that can
The right
actually
pitch.
make a good movie.
Yeah, Stephen wrote that that's correct. New Line lost the rights and it reverted back to Craven.
And thankfully, Nightmare on Elm Street isn't as complicated as Friday the 13th, where like I don't even
People
understand who
claim to
owns
own
the
it.
rights to Jason.
Jason's Victor Miller.
So adult Jason is Victor Miller, but
No, Jason as a child is Victor Miller.
Jason as a child is Victor Miller, and Jason as an adult is Sean Cunningham.
The name Friday the 13th is Sean Cunningham.
Jesus.
But the way it worked is that then they argue that, well, if I created this character as a child, well, then he gets an adult, it's still the same character. Pamela Voorhees too, right? So
It'd be cool to have a new
because
movie.
the original Friday the 13th movie is about Pamela, not about Jason.
Yeah.
But then they took that little character, the little crappy one, and then made him huge. Kind of what Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, but
Leatherface is just kind of on the outside. They just picked him out and just pushed him to stardom.
they should have done that with the Hitchhiker
He's dead,
or
right?
or Copper Top.
Yeah, you need head cheese, huh? Head cheese, you like? You like?
Did you ever watch Texas Chainsaw 3D?
No.
So at the beginning of the movie, they have a scene that's supposed to be in 1974. So they have the cook is there, but obviously it's not the same actor. It's fucking Bill Moseley who played Copper Top that plays the cook in that little flashback scene. So that's kind of cool.
It's a good
Yeah.
Easter egg. The Sauce family. The Sauce family. All right, so we're going to get new Friday 13. We're going to write that. We're going to get a new Nightmare on Elm Street. Going to write that. I actually had an idea for new Nightmare on Elm Street and I forgot it. I had a way to make Robert Englund minimal in the movie, but still carry the legacy. No, I can't remember what it was because I have children.
Sure, okay. Oh, we're supposed to get a new Hellraiser movie.
Fuck, really? Why? That is the perfect example of a fucking a franchise that's gone so off the rails
I know, but
and it's not even recognizable.
it's not who owned the rights to Hellraiser for a while. I forget, but it's not who owned the rights anymore. And the new Hellraiser movie is a complete reboot. They
Yay.
involved Clive Barker's actually involved, and I have my small hopes up for it. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, so I want to see it succeed. Pinhead is going to be female, which I think is actually a good idea because in the book, in the book, it's the way he describes Pinhead. You can't tell if he's female or male. He kind of points out you're not sure.
Doesn't really matter anyway because he's
Yeah.
just a Cenobite, right?
And the other reason I like it is because I think to reboot Hellraiser, they have whoever's playing Pinhead has to distance themselves from what's his name? Doug. Bradley?
The original
Yeah.
Pennywise?
They have to distance themselves from the original actor. If you're gonna get another guy to play Pinhead, he's gonna be compared to him, and he's just gonna suck. So maybe the right woman just change the character completely, try to create something really good. It might work. Getting another guy to try to play the same role, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna suck.
Yeah, Steven says it's Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley. I can't believe I was off.
Yeah, that would see, and I think that's the reason why in it that it worked to replace
Oh
Pennywise.
my god, I was so. I remember the first time. So they released a picture of Pennywise before the trailer came out, and I remember looking at the picture and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is going to suck. Because
In full disclosure, I have not watched any of the new It movies
you fucking
because I
you
don't like
fucking
clowns.
pussy.
I don't like clowns.
Like when the
I would literally, people will fucking piss me off, purposely send me the gif of him with the fucking big teeth, and to fucking scare the shit out of me every time I see that fucking gif.
so like I'll admit when that first picture of Pennywise came out, I thought like this movie's gonna suck. Because he had this like old timey outfit on him, and I thought this isn't gonna fucking work. And I by far, this might not be a popular opinion, but I by far love the new It films
No,
more than the miniseries. I still really like the miniseries, but Jesus Christ, Pennywise,
the clown looks more old school.
yes, and he's fucking creepy.
Which I mean, and I've seen interviews with Sarsgaard, and and he talks about like talking to Tim Curry and all that,
Hmm.
and trying to get the right mood and all that. And Tim Curry telling you, make it your own. And when I see clips or trailers for the movie, I'm like, holy fuck, he looks creepy as fuck.
He looks like he really murders children.
Exactly, he does. Yeah, I like I said, I haven't seen the movie because I fear it. But the fact that I don't want to see it because I fear it means he's doing a fucking good job in that trailer.
Or it just means you're a pussy.
Or it means I am a pussy. A or B? Oh, I'm trying to remember what that fucking Nightmare on Elm Street idea I had.
You didn't really have an idea.
Yeah, he would possess people. Like the first one, like
He
he
would
would
put
eat Freddy's
he would
heart.
possess people, and the main kid he was possessed would be sexually confused.
No, he would possess people. Like the first person would like eat his heart at an autopsy, and then he would start possessing people, and you could see him in the mirrors.
Jason Goes to Hell, a better movie than this Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Oh no,
Yes,
I don't think.
because it's so
I'll have
fucking
to.
bad shit crazy.
I no, I can't
Because
do it.
one thing you can't say about Jason Goes to Hell, it's not a generic slasher movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
No, it's just Shocker
I would just rather watch
with Jason.
that than Shocker is a fucking better movie than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Holy
Yes,
shit.
that's what I'm saying. Well, it's just a ripoff of Shocker. The thing that I hated about Jason Goes to Hell
If Jason
is
wasn't in
okay,
it.
to me, Jason, yeah, other than the fact he wasn't there. The main thing to me about Jason, the number one most important thing about Jason is this thing right here. This thing. This is the most important thing. It has to look like this. It's important. It's the most important thing there is.
And what's
And it's something that was lost in that movie when they just made his mask all broken up, big fucking bubble head. Like, what the fuck is that? Fucking little hair strands and shit. It doesn't look like him at all. It drives me nuts. And even in like Freddy versus Jason and in the reboot, the mask isn't perfect, and it bothers me. Not as much as it did in Freddy in the Final Friday because it really looked off there. But the mask has to look like a fucking Goldie mask. Yeah, that's my rant.
Yeah,
Drives me
if
nuts.
they made reboot Friday the 13th again in the modern day, how are they going to explain him getting an old school hockey mask?
Fuck, how could I explain it when you got it in the 80s?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's a it's a fucking like 60s mask. People nowadays they'll do anything, and I think that's the reason why too. Why the Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
Hmm.
why I like Freddy's look less. The fucking glove.
Yeah,
That thing has to look like the glove.
I didn't mind it. I thought like the movie overall was better than the last couple of movies, and I liked the whole idea behind it. I thought the idea was freaky.
That they brought him in the real world.
That well, they didn't really bring him in the real world. He just started going to people's nightmares in the real world.
Yeah, that he was real and he
That
was haunting the
and
cats.
like Friday Nightmare 4, 5. The further you went, the sillier Freddy got,
Yes, and he was
to the
totally
point where
nuts. He was
he's
because
like a stand up comedian, and then you Nightmares, like Wes Craven was like, no, fuck this shit. Freddy's a bastard and he kills people. It's fucking scary.
and I
He was
did
scary
still like
again.
the fact that Robert Englund did get in his old makeup
Yeah.
for that little talk show
Yeah.
thing, and they had the makeup right. So to me, that was like, oh, finally, after part 5, part 6, I finally get the right makeup. I finally get the right glove. It was beautiful. Steven wrote the glove was based on the poster from Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
Yeah, exactly. So stop complaining.
So like that skeletal. Then he has like the blade on the thumb, which would be weird to try to like make soup and stuff. The world according to Bob wrote, "Have you ever seen the Dark Tower movie?" I haven't actually. Have you seen it?
I have. And
That's the one with what's his name
Idris
there?
Elba.
Idris Elba. Yes.
So I can give you my quick thoughts on it. I gave it a somewhat positive review when I originally watched it. And I think the reason I gave it a somewhat positive review was because I think I filled in all the gaps in my head. Like everything that was missing in the movie. Like,
So if you read the book,
yeah, which you would think, being a fan of the books, I would have hated it originally more. But when I first saw it, it's like I was just so excited of seeing these characters on screen. And then now that I'm further away from my initial viewing of it, like the movie should have been on the scale of fucking Lord of the Rings, and it was
I knew
on
you
the
were going to say that.
scale of like fucking.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
It was on the scale of fucking Twilight.
I've never seen Twilight. I couldn't tell
Like
you.
imagine like the Dark Tower series is like Stephen King's like magnum opus, and they made a movie called The Dark Tower, which I think the movie is like 90 minutes long.
90 minutes long. Really?
Yeah, like it's not. It's a short movie.
Isn't that
There,
like a huge Bible book? Actually, several books, is it not? Drawing of
and
the Three. I remember that was one of them.
yeah, there's like 7.
100 books.
There's 7 books, and then after he completed the series, he came back and wrote another one, which kind of fits in between two of the books. It's just like Roland telling a story. so it kind of fits in there. It doesn't interfere with the rest of the huge narrative. But
How long's the movie?
90 minutes. And what is funny is Stephen King wrote one of the greatest opening lines to any novel ever in the very first book, The Gunslinger. It's the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. And they didn't open the fucking movie with that.
The Man in Black is Randall Flagg, is it not?
It is. It has
Is he
many
not from the
incarnations.
that other Stephen King movie,
The other,
The Stand?
The Stand, yes.
He's the same character.
Yes, well, it's a little vague if he's exactly the same character or if he's a version of the same character. Because like Stephen King basically introduced that there's like sort of a multiverse.
Okay.
Most of his stuff happens in the same universe, but like at the Dark Tower, there's like you can access different universes. Like a character from Salem's Lot, the priest that's in Salem's Lot. He ends up being one of the main. Well, not one of the main. He's actually ends up being a very important supporting character in the Dark Tower series. He ends up in that universe.
Okay. So if never
Mm,
read any of the Dark Tower books, would I like the movie?
maybe.
Because knowing what I know about how long they are, I'm thinking, well, if I watch this movie at an hour and a half, I'm definitely missing a shit ton of stuff.
What's fun about the movie? One thing I can enjoy about the movie is just watching the movie and seeing all the Stephen King Easter eggs in the background. Like there's a model
Oh
of
yeah.
the car and Christine in a scene, and I think he's the kid seeing a shrink, and in the back, the shrink for some reason has a framed picture of the Overlook Hotel, and
Okay.
there's like a bunch of little stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you might like the movie. I mean, I can enjoy the movie. It's not great.
You can enjoy
Anyone
it.
who shits on the movie, I would be just like, yeah, you're probably right.
Probably
Which
accurate.
is a shame because I really like Idris Elba. I really wanted this to be a series of movies, and they just shit the bed.
I mean, if you make a movie an hour and a half, then it doesn't look good already to have like a whole bunch of
Like
sequels because it doesn't look like you believe in a
I
product to
don't
start off
know,
with.
and I thought Matthew McConaughey was a cool choice to play the Man in Black.
All right, all right, all
And
right.
the only other character they have from the book really is the kid, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't. Do you know of a Stephen King book that is followed to like really close in the movie?
Um, the original Pet Cemetery is pretty close.
Which also freaks me out.
The original Pet Cemetery, surprisingly, well, I really liked it. Doctor Sleep is pretty close, except for the ending. But what they did was, so you've seen The Shining. So in Stephen King's book, The Shining, the Overlook Hotel blows up at the end. In Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, the Overlook Hotel does not blow up at the end.
Jack just freely go in
Yeah.
the maze and that's it.
So when Mike Flanagan he wrote and directed Doctor Sleep, which is the novel is a sequel to The Shining. he managed to make an incredibly faithful adaptation of the book while also making it a real sequel to the movie The Shining. So, and the only thing he had to change like one character, and he drastically changed the end somewhat. But what he did was he incorporated what happened in the film The Shining and combine that with the ending of the novel of Doctor Sleep, and I really like the movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't.
Uh,
Probably will
Ewan
now.
McGregor's in it. He's Ewan, so he plays like he's playing like the kid from The Shining as an adult.
Okay, yeah, I remember the trailer.
So it's pretty good. I liked it anyways. Mike Flanagan, he directed so far he directed 3 miniseries for Netflix, all horror related. Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and Midnight Mass. And his next one is going to be an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of House of Usher. I think the most famous,
That's
yeah,
the
the
movie
most
too.
famous movie of that with Roger Corman made it. But in the miniseries, fucking Mark Hamill's going to be in it. And I think he's listed as being in all 8 episodes. So I think he's playing a big part in it. So that'll be cool.
I probably watched that too. Luke. Eternal Rogue says, "What stock would Leatherface buy?"
Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
He'd invest in
What do you buy? I don't know. He probably buy maybe Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat? That seems.
Yeah, that vegetarian meat.
You think he would invest in that?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Steven. See, was the movie Green Mile any good?
Yeah, that was really good.
Because I read the book. That's like one of those where I actually read the book and never watched the movie. Book was good.
Yeah, it was.
I also like Cycles of the Werewolf was a good book too.
I've never read that one. It's on my to read list.
Which is like Silver Bullet.
Yeah. So the crappy thing with Stephen King is it's kind of hard to catch up on his books.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done
I
quite
mean,
a
the
few.
motherfucker still comes out with like 2 or 3 books a year.
It's crazy how he still keeps. I keep seeing his
I
shit
know,
come
it's
out.
fucking crazy.
And I'm like, holy cow, how is he doing this? How does he write 3 books and bash Trump every day? Where does he find the time? It's insane. Joe Rogan, Maximum Overdrive. I actually watched that recently.
I haven't
Again.
watched it. I really like it as a 90-minute AC/DC video.
I love the truck, the toy truck. It's like Toys R Us, but it's not there, or whatever it's called. The black one. I love that. I love to have like a model of that transport. That's cool.
They actually made
The movie's ridiculous,
another movie based on that short story just called Trucks. It's not really good. Not that Maximum Overdrive is that good, but it's so over the top that you can enjoy it. This one is the Trucks. It's just like low budget. It's closer to the short story, but it's not really as entertaining.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, It's weird, but I liked it. It's not a movie I would watch. Like,
I'm pretty sure that Stephen King admitted that he was coked out of his mind when he made the movie.
sounds about right. So whenever I think of Stephen King, the first thing that comes in my head is when he played that Rolling Creep show there.
the farmer that finds the meteorite.
Yes, he's got all like this. Yes, exactly. The first thing that comes to my head, like he's got all this shit growing on him.
Have you watched the Creep Show series, the TV series. That's pretty good. Um, as long as we're horror fans, we like low budget shit. Like not every episode is like fucking doesn't have the same
What
budget
would be
as
better?
fucking Game of Thrones. But what's funny is so like Stephen King and George Romero started Creepshow. So there's a shitload of Creepshow episodes that don't really have anything to do with Stephen King, but there's like Stephen King Easter eggs in the episodes. It's fucking funny. They
Nice.
did adapt a couple of his stories though.
I like that. Stephen Budd wrote. His son is an amazing author too.
Yes, he is. I'm actually reading. I thought I had the book here. The book I'm reading right now is one of his. I think it's his. Might be one of his first novels. It's a collection of short stories called 20th Century Ghosts. And one of the short stories in it is called The Black Phone, and that's a horror movie that's coming out in the next month, I think.
Oh,
So who said that about
how about Tabitha? Is she a good writer?
Tabitha?
Is that his wife?
Oh, does she write? Who said? Who said?
Yeah.
Who said? Who said that about?
Stephen wrote about Stephen King's
What
son.
what books does he like?
Stephen, what books do you like? What letters make you smile?
Because I've read a lot of Joe Hill's stuff, and I can't think of a weak book among them.
Stephen wrote She Writes Children's books.
Okay, so that would be something that Kevin would be reading.
Oh, it's funny, but it's true. It's the only thing I read lately is fucking kids' books. So while Stephen gets a list, uh, Eternal Rogue wrote which The Stand show was
Oh
better,
Jesus,
or which was closer to the books.
closer to the books, maybe the new one, just because they had more episodes and were able to put more stuff in it. But
I only ever watched the original one.
the original one is missing a lot of stuff, but it has that camp factor that even the parts that aren't that good are still kind of good. And this new one, I don't know. I think the pacing was a mess. They were doing flashbacks, going back and forth from the present to the past, and like I can't imagine anyone who didn't already read The Stand. I can see them watching that and just not enjoying it whatsoever.
Hmm, makes sense. Right, we'll continue. Anybody have any questions? Post it. We'll continue. Stephen Butter wrote Heart-Shaped Box and NOS 4A2 were my favorite.
Say the second one.
Keep in mind that Stephen Budd is a Nirvana fan.
Say the second one again. Now picture it as a license plate.
Fuck off.
Picture it as a license plate.
No for a two.
Yes.
Nosferatu. Oh fuck! I'm usually not good at that.
Yeah, I love those two books. The Heart Shaped Box was really good. I'm trying to remember if that was the first one I read.
She has me like a passes when I am weak.
I think I would love to see a movie based on the Heart Shaped Box. That would be awesome. They did a TV series based on Nosferatu, which I liked. I don't know if someone who didn't read the books would like it. The book would like it or not, though. I like it. Nosferatu Nosferatu isn't even anything like you hear the name Nosferatu and you picture like it's gonna be like about a vampire or something,
Picture Garth Orlock.
and it's nothing like that. It's so fucking
Picture
creepy.
this.
It's about this guy that takes children to Christmas Land, and Christmas Land sounds like the fucking creepiest place in the fucking world.
Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
So, sounds like
I'm
Florida.
just looking up at the other books. Oh, The Fireman. He also wrote The Fireman, which is really good.
Also, guys, remember the stream is brought to you by G0 Gatorade. Thank you, Gatorade, for sponsoring. Also brought to you by Nintendo. Thank you, Nintendo of America, for sponsoring the stream.
I saw you were playing Ninja Turtles.
Yes, I was maiming it
So
up.
you were streaming that off your computer? They worked
Yeah,
pretty good.
my
Would
new
that work
computer.
for a multiplayer game?
If you were playing it on computer, yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have to figure that shit out.
Like if we were to download like a game like off Steam or something like that, it would work. Or if we were to play Xbox together, I could plug the Xbox into the computer and then we could stream it.
Yeah, just as long as there's no extra work on my end, I'm good to go.
Oh, I could just kick your ass at the new wrestling game when it comes out, and then people could watch it happen.
I haven't bought a wrestling game in 2 or 3 years. 3 years, I think.
I might buy the new AEW one.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think the new stand was probably better in terms of quality, but I personally like the 90s version.
I would agree. The
So Steven wrote, oh, no, go
the
ahead.
production value on the new one was better than the original for sure, but man, it had it had problems.
Kevin, you win a gold star. Thank you.
For what?
For my
Oh,
singing. Eternal Railroad is TV series Nosferatu.
yeah. I think they made.
That sounds like a robot asking a question. Are all guys on the same team?
I think Nosferatu aired on. I think it aired on AMC. There was 2 seasons, and the 2 seasons pretty much covered the whole book. So I don't think they're gonna make any more. But it doesn't end on a cliffhanger.
Is the name written that way though, like for
Yep.
the TV series? Okay, interesting. So that'd be a way to find it on the internet somewhere. Stephen Bad Heart-shaped box is cool. Horror possession book. He also did Horns, which turned into a movie starring Daniel Radcliffe. Horns. Can Stephen King put out a book now that would be the quality like the past, or will not been seen for another 20 years looking back?
Um, I think I don't know because I think when like all his greatest books, I think he was dealing.
He was coked up.
Well, we joke about it that he was coked up, but I think he was dealing with a lot of personal demons, and I think that came out in his writing. And now I think
And LSD.
now he had, he's happy with his life, so I think he doesn't have as much dark in him. Maybe that's a theory I have, anyways.
So we need to fuck up his family life.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Because I'm trying to think of like there's a couple of his last books I really like, but it's nothing close in quality. There's nothing close to his like earlier stuff really. I'm looking around.
Well, I think it'd be hard to
Yeah.
top, right? Because if you think it's not like he wrote one good book, he wrote like 100.
Yeah, I don't like it's sad to say, but I don't think he'll ever write something as that'll top his old stuff again. Although like he's still writing good stuff. Like he wrote something. Oh shit, what was the name? I can't see the. My books are over there. I can't see the name from here. He wrote a couple of books for an imprint of crime novels, and so no one's expecting much from it. It's almost like he's doing a favor for like this small publisher, and no one's expecting like huge horror stories out of it. And there's one I thought was it kind of reminded me of like the old Stephen King. I think the name.
Okay, like it's like a crime novel?
Well, that's the imprint. Here, you talk for a second. I'm gonna go grab the book. Talk to yourself for a second.
Okay.
I can still hear you.
All right, Kevin, you can do this. You've been training for this for a while, okay? Ready? Okay, do it. Come on. Positive thoughts. Hi, I'm Kevin. This is my toy. This is a bee. This is Buzz Off. It's weird because he's a toy bee, but his name is kind of vulgar. He should be canceled. Here is a Power of the Force figure, Star Wars Force Awakens. This is Rey on Jakku. All right, Rey's a great character. She's so awesome. I wish she'd be in every single Star Wars thing that comes out.
So it's a
Ninjor. He's a
Ninjor.
ninja in the He-Man time.
So it's this book. They only come out in like paperback, and it's like hard case. It's called Hard Case Crime. So all sorts of writers put out put out uh, put out books. Like his other one was just called the Colorado Kid, and it was just about like a girl finding a dead body on the beach, and they were trying to figure out how the dead body got there.
Was.
So, and you look at the cover for this, and
This wasn't a boat accident.
it looks like hard-boiled crime novels and stuff and shit like that. So that's what I was expecting when I picked this one up. And it ends up it's about this kid that has like supernatural abilities, and it gets really dark towards the end. So I would recommend this. You can probably find it cheap because it's just like a paperback novel, really. And it this one really reminded me of like old classic Stephen King, the way he used to write books. Yeah,
That's the
right
one right
there.
there.
That one right there.
That's the one right there. Stephen King. Later.
And
C. Leger wrote, "You can do this." Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement.
I saw a clip of a writer teaching a writing class, and he was talking about um, different writers, who is memorable and who is not, who has a long lasting career. And he pointed out how some writers can really stick an ending, but the rest of the book kind of sucks because they can't write characters. And he said those are the writers that usually don't have a long lasting career. And then he said some writers can't have have trouble landing the ending, but the rest of the book is amazing and they have long careers. And he used Stephen King as an example, which is true. And he even makes fun of himself in, was it It? He makes fun of himself in It. He has a cameo in It where so one of the characters is a writer, and I think he goes into a pawn shop, and the pawn shop owner is Stephen King, and he says something like, "Do you know?" Don't remember the line, but he basically asks him like, "Have you heard of this writer?" And Stephen King says, "Yeah, his endings suck," or something like that, and he's making fun of himself. But it's true, like Stephen King novels, what he's best at is writing the fucking characters.
Well, it's the same. I when you say that, I kind of see it as like in wrestling.
Yeah.
You have people who have a great match, and it sucks. People have a shitty match, but you remember the finish.
And I've read about
Great matches, you have both.
how Stephen King writes, and it makes sense now that sometimes his endings don't land, is because some writers plot out the story in advance and then they write the story. I guess Stephen King said he doesn't do that. He just starts writing about a character and he says he has no fucking idea where the story is going to go. He just starts writing. So it would make sense that sometimes the endings don't land that well.
See, I would write like that. That's the way I would write going forward.
Yeah.
But again, like wrestling, they book WrestleMania, and then they work their way towards what that booking is.
I'm sure they did that 20 or 30 years ago. I'm pretty sure.
They
No,
still do
they
that
don't.
now.
They don't know what they're. They don't
Yes,
know
they
what they're
do.
doing from one week to the next.
They do.
I'm not
Everything
even
makes
watching.
sense.
I know.
Eternal Rogue says Spock. Spock has a good look for Nosferatu.
Oh yeah, so he's shit. What's his name? The guy that plays Spock in the new Star Trek films. He's the guy that plays.
Okay. He's in
Yeah.
the show.
Oh,
in the
shit. What's his
Nosferatu show?
name? Mister.
Spock? Dulac?
Fuck, I haven't read Nosferatu in a while. He plays like the main protagonist and antagonist.
Never even read it.
The guy driving the old antique car that takes children to Christmas Land, where the kids lose all their teeth and the teeth are replaced with metal hooks.
Jesus.
They go to Christmas Land where it's Christmas every day forever, and you don't grow old.
That's the horrible.
And I think their favorite game to play in Christmas Land is, I think it's Stab the Stranger, something like that.
This show sounds weird. Dulac is not coming back.
I'm not.
Yeah, he did. He came back. He enjoyed my review of Buzz Off. Stephen Budd writes, Colorado Kid was the inspiration for the TV show Haven.
I did not know that.
Eternal Rogue says loved Haven.
What's Haven? I'll have to check that out.
I don't know. It's a TV show
Shit.
that was inspired by Colorado Kid.
I did not know that.
Stephen King. Stephen Budd randomly writes Zachary Quinto.
Zachary
no
Quinto,
why,
that's his name.
His name is Zachary Quinto. In case you were wondering.
That's his name.
So we started with Texas Chainsaw
Yeah,
Massacre.
unfortunately. And then we became happier when we started talking about other stuff.
True, though.
So yeah.
Haven was filmed in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia.
Oh, shit. Was it close to the city?
Holy shit. It's like the Miner. We have to go to Sydney Mines. Has to happen. I'm going for sure. I'm going. That's it.
I'll go with you, but you're not coming back.
Whatever it takes. We'll go to the mine. We'll bring a camera. And we'll try to get down there and find like the spots where what was filmed.
I was just checking on my phone because I didn't remember what I gave Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I gave it 2 stars out of 5 because I enjoyed the gore. There's 2 stars worth of gore on Letterboxd. I gave.
For what?
What do you mean, why?
For what? Texas Chainsaw?
2 out of 5.
It's not a 2-star movie. You crazy? You gave Jaws of Revenge half a star. How the fuck can you give this 2 stars? We're done, man. We're done.
I might want to watch Texas Chainsaw more than Jaws 4.
Not working. Will you stop? Jaws of Revenge is the best Christmas movie ever. Had Trailer Park Boys, Mr. Leahy, and Edge and Christian in it.
Holy shit.
Now I kind of remember the show because I remember that Edge was in the show from Twitter. So that makes sense. Laura Bud writes road trip. So Laura is coming with us to Sydney Mines. She'll be holding the flashlight.
Well, I know you won't be holding a flashlight because you'll be too busy getting stabbed.
Not getting stabbed by the miner. He's not. He's only got one hand now. Stephen Budd, Haven. It's kind of like X-Files a bit. Monsters of the Week kind of show.
Oh.
Joe Rowe writes Troubles.
Troubles.
Stephen Budd says 1.5 stars was just for John Larroquette.
Yeah, exactly. Then 0.5 for the gore.
Oh my god. John Larroquette will narrate the Jaws Revenge, the re-release.
Re-release.
Call him up. Dan Fielding. Will you do this for us? James, I should respond to this. Tell us a story.
Okay, I think we're good.
Oh yeah, we're at time. Ah, nice.
2 fucking hours. What the fuck is this?
It's crazy. Laura wrote, I'll help document the experience. Perfect. See, now we have a camera person. We can make this
Camera
happen.
person, you, a victim.
A victim, a hero, you. All right, so make the promise right now to the people.
What?
That this year we will go to Sydney Mines and we will film.
I want to find out first if you can even get close.
We got feet.
No, I mean maybe we'll get there and it's like fenced off and you can't even see the fucking building outside of the mine. You can only see a sign.
Well, if you look at the footage, like when they're close to the water there, that part, you can tell it's like really
I wonder if
open.
that junkyard is still there.
We can go to the junkyard
Some
too.
TV dinners on a
Sit down, have a drink in the car.
some TV dinners on a hot engine.
76 Camaro. TV dinners.
Play some harmonica.
And everybody had a harmonica. Shoot. Although I did paid show, but paid per show or paid by the hour. I like how Kevin skipped the comment about filming his stabbing. Was there a comment about filming his stabbing? I did miss it. Sorry. Does Sidney Crosby live in Sydney Mine? Actually, oddly enough, he's from Cole Harbor.
Well, that's weird.
Which is another mining community. Laura Bud says she's going to research it for us.
Holy shit.
So we're going. We're going. And you know what? I actually did a little bit of research on
I
Google.
find that hard to believe.
I did just a little bit, few words, typed it in, enter, Google Earth, and I saw, or I'm pretty sure it's what it is. I got to compare pictures, but the Esso that's in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that. It's been modernized, but it's still there.
Exactly. So that'll give us like kind of like a feel of where we are. So yeah, it's gonna be super cool. The best road trip. Actually, last time we were on a road trip, me and you, did we go to
I think
Quebec?
so, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Quebec City. Went to l'Imaginaire.
Oh, I forgot about that
Place
store.
Sainte-Foy. There's two stores now, actually. There's another one. I think it's outside Lévis. There's a smaller one. It's not the one at the mall.
Okay.
It's another one.
That's cool. Oh, yeah, what's that bullshit putting on Twitter? I think Dudak might have liked this movie more than Evil Dead. Jesus Christ.
I had no idea if you liked it or not. So I'm like, I gotta make it look like he liked it. I'm like, what horror movie do I pick? And I'm like, well, I gotta pick the one that's on his wall.
Oh, that's something else you're getting this year. Evil Dead sequel or remake or something. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't see the remake.
I like the remake. I still like the original trilogy more, but the remake it's intense. It's
So is it more like
it's
horror?
very much more horror-y. There's no one's laughing. No one's laughing in the movie. These
See, I enjoy the tongue in
these
cheek
people
of
go
the
through
original.
hell. I like Jane Levy, I think her name is. She was the main one in Don't Breathe. Did you watch Don't Breathe?
That's also the name of my niece,
Is
Jane Levy.
it?
Don't Breathe, that I watched Don't Breathe. Yes. That's the one with that weird guy who,
Is
and then
is
he's
that what you just
blind,
call
right?
blind people?
No, I say it's weird
Yeah,
because
I
the
know.
sequel to it is
I'm just
fucking
being an
nuts.
asshole.
Did you see the sequel?
Yeah, I didn't like the sequel.
It is insanely
Yeah,
stupid.
like
It's like he goes from like a fucking weird perverted killer to a hero.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't a fan.
I didn't understand that.
I'm a fan of the first one though.
Evil Dead TV series, that was good.
Fuck yes, Ash versus Evil Dead. It was like fucking how many episodes? It was like a huge Evil Dead 4.
Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was good. I wish it could have kept going on that.
Yeah.
Channel Rose says Real Dead One production.
Says what?
Real Dead One production. So you can do the trip. We can have Laura as a scouter. We can have Real Dead One actually make the video. Then we can be there in Sydney Mines. Go right down the shaft. That sounds really weird. And get into the mines.
You just like talking about Shaft.
I like going down the shaft. It's my favorite part of coal mining.
Uh,
All right, cool. So if there's no other questions, we're gonna shut her down.
yeah.
As always, thank you for watching, Mr. Dulac. Thank you for being here. Should we run a poll on Twitter to see what movie people want to see us talk about?
You can. I think that would be a good idea, except it'll be really sad when only 5 people vote on it.
Hmm. True. Or I can put to not put the numbers,
Oh yeah, do that. Oh,
and then when it comes back, we'll be like, "Holy shit, we received so many!" But we're gonna go with this movie. It's like it'll be our own votes.
863 people voted for.
Yeah. Voted for no other episodes. Microwave Massacre. That wins right there. You're right. You're right, Eternal Rogue. That's the winner.
You know what? I don't.
You watched it here and you hated it.
Microwave Massacre? I don't remember watching that.
Oh wait, no, that was Blood Vomit Dolls.
Yes, I fucking hated that. I hated it. I hated it so much that like Letterboxd gets his movie information from the movie database, and it's all user generated. And I hated that movie so much. Vomit. What was it called?
Blood Vomit Dolls. It's cinematic perfection.
That I created an account on the movie database just so I could add that movie, so I could log it in
Fucking IMDb.
Letterboxd and shit on the movie.
How many stars did it get?
Half.
If you say half or more, I'm gonna fucking flip out.
Got half. Because I couldn't give it minus.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Blood Vomit Dolls? Yeah, it's just like Jaws Revenge.
I like it on Letterboxd, so I checked to see if I actually ever watched Microwave Massacre, and I haven't. And I'm looking at the people I follow, what they rated it. The first guy rated it 4.5 stars. The next guy rated it 1 star.
Yes, it's a classic. We could actually watch it together.
No,
Missy Leger as thrown in her one. She likes to see Hell Comes to Frogtown.
I'd watch that again.
I watched it actually recently. I watched that and I watched They Live in the same week.
So does that mean if people voted for it, that you would watch it?
No, it doesn't mean that at all. If people would vote for it, I would have to watch it, yes, because I'm a man of my word.
Because there's 2 parts and they're like 2.5 hours each.
Like fucking 5 hours of that. 5 hours of terror. You know what would be interesting? It'd be horrible, but it'd be interesting if I would film myself watching it. Because and like not play it up for the camera, but legitimately you would see the fear on my face and me trying to squint and not look. Because I still do that.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, yes. Unperfect I am. Cool. All right. So we'll put up a poll or something. Thanks for the suggestion, guys. We'll put that up there. I don't want to watch Kevin for 5 hours. That sounds like a horror movie. I would clip it. You could call the video grown man screams like. God. That message retracted. That's right. I couldn't even finish a sentence. Aha. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Mr. Dulac, thanks for joining us. Are we doing this again next week?
We are. I didn't agree to it.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. Are we doing
Maybe we'll see. Depends on my mood.
Maybe we'll see. Depends on your mood. All right. So it depends on his mood. I'll send you flowers and candy. You could call it grown man screams like child. Ah, there. That's better.
I would have said grown man screams like girl, but
Ah. Oh, my brain's just rebooting. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you maybe next week if Stefan wants to join us or not. Sorry, Mr. Dulac, what am I saying? Abort
all right, till next time.
later.